Most of the people today are moving very fast, too fast, I think. I've noticed that people are in an art gallery or a museum, and they just sort of move very steadily and rather quickly through the show, and they don't really look at it. So I was concerned in encouraging people to stop in front of whatever you're considering and look at it. After you've looked at it, concentrate on it and try to see what's actually there. Because most people will look, but they don't see. And to get the meaning out of a painting or a photograph, you really have to see it and study it a little bit and try to think, why is it appealing to me? What did the artist have in mind? That sort of thing. I actually started photographing when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I really became more active in high school and college. I photographed for the yearbook at Colorado College. And then I graduated in '49. I traveled all through the West after I graduated, hit the national parks, shot a lot of photographs, and I never had a class, never ever had a class in photography, so I'm pretty much self-taught. Somehow I apparently had a little bit of a natural capability for design and composition, because when I got back to Pittsburgh, someone suggested I go to the Natural Color Camera Club of Pittsburgh, which was a nationally well-known camera club. And the first night, they said, bring a couple slides. So I took 3 slides, and they had a judging, and I got first, second, and third prize. So I thought, well, this is pretty cool. Maybe I should get more serious about this. Fortunately, left the foundation in 1964 and started my own photography business. I realized that it's almost impossible, it was in those days, to make a living as a fine art photographer unless you had somebody supporting you monetarily, which I didn't have. So I like to eat, and I had ended up with 5 children that had to be fed in a new house. So obviously I had to work. So that's where the commercial work came into. I did over 50 annual reports in China, photographed oil wells in the North Sea, photographed in Korea, all over the world. And that's pretty exciting because the companies are paying your transportation. And then once I got to those places, I would stay for another couple weeks and do my fine art photography. So it was a way to make a living and still do the fine art photography on the side. Really enjoyed photographing people. And traveling in the 30 countries, I photographed people in Egypt, Africa, the Maasai warriors. There'll be a lot of photographs of people in the show from various parts of the country, various parts of the world. And then I was very active in camera clubs when I came to Colorado. Part of that operation was sending in slides to exhibitions. Each city, almost all the big cities in the country had international exhibitions of photography judged. So I would send in work to those exhibitions and kept building up a series of awards and acceptances. Probably the most important was the Governor's Award in the Arts and Humanities. I was the first photographer to get the award in Colorado for both photography, fine art photography, and for my activities in encouragement of fine art photography. I started in the Colorado Photographic Arts Center and about 4 other photographic organizations here in Denver. I also taught for over 30 years, and that was a terrific experience. The joy really came from the students. They were fantastic. And a lot of them went on to become very prominent in photography in both business, and the curator at the Denver Art Museum was one of my students. Heads of a couple departments in other universities around the country were students of mine, and commercial photographers. I don't like digital. All of my work is with film. I kind of love films and still shoot. I'm shooting digital, but I prefer film. Because of my friendship with Ansel Adams, who was a pretty straight photographer, and Franz Berko and others, there was no manipulation. If you couldn't cut it, forget it. You had to do it right the first time. So you develop a skill of cropping and composition and color and so forth, which you can do a lot of those things with digital maneuvering and Photoshop, but I think I'm stuck with being a purist.